party started. Okay. I'm going to get this meeting started. Welcome, everybody, to the Town Board meeting of May 11, 2021. On a roll call.
Councilman Dennis Troy.
Present.
Councilman Tom Vivini.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Vitari. Here. Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. So, did Esther call and designate who's supposed to? She wanted Paul, okay. It's always Paul, but okay, I thought maybe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, you do a very nice job there. I know why she asked for you. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Just wanted to, I know we mentioned it last meeting, but we wanted to, that we're all vaccinated up here, so that's why we have removed our masks after over a year of wearing them. Okay, so just we have a couple of announcements. One, public hearing on May 25th at 7:05 regarding proposed amendment to Chapter 39, stop intersections. Then we have the Town of Orangetown, this I'm sure you're all here for. The Town of Orangetown draft municipal separate storm sewer system, MS4 annual report will be available for review on the town website. Next, we have a bunch of events for Memorial Day. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they are listed. Allison, are we going to have them on our website or anything where they can find them? It's on our website, so if you're interested, they're from Sunday and Monday. Lots of events to celebrate Memorial Day in person. We have some proclamations. We're going to start with the proclamation for Mental Health Awareness Month. Is anyone here, or is everyone coming for this? Yeah, they're all here. Oh, I'm sorry, there they are right in front of me. Okay, so if you ladies want to step up here, I'm just going to read a little bit off the proclamation. So whereas mental health is essential to the well-being and the vitality of our families, businesses, and communities, and whereas mental health conditions after the COVID pandemic are real and prevalent in our nation with a prediction that 1 of 3 adults and 1 of 3 children affected, and whereas traumatic events such as assault, military combat, an accident, a natural disaster, or the coronavirus pandemic can have long-standing negative effects, and whereas sometimes our biological responses and instincts, which could be life-saving during a crisis, leave children and adults with ongoing psychological symptoms, and whereas post-traumatic stress disorder affects 3.5 of the U.S. adult population, about 7.7 million Americans, and 37 of those cases are classified as severe, and whereas post-traumatic stress can occur at any age, the average age of an onset is in a person's early 20s, and whereas stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from trauma-based mental health services from seeking help, and whereas with efficient treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full productive lives, and whereas education, compassion, and awareness about mental illness can change negative attitudes and behaviors towards people with mental illness, and whereas every Rockland County business, school, government agency, law enforcement agency, healthcare provider, and citizen share the responsibility to promote mental wellness and support suicide prevention efforts. Therefore, I, Teresa Kenny, Supervisor of the Town of Orangetown, do proclaim the month of May 2021 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Orangetown. And I call upon all of our residents, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illnesses and trauma-related disorders, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible services for all individuals. So thank you, ladies, for what you do. It's very important, and as pointed out with COVID more than ever. So I'm going to put my mask on and bring this down to you, ladies. And if you want to say something, by all means, the mic's right there.
Hi. Can you hear me with the
I
mask?
can.
Okay. I'm Sandy Wolf. I'm president of NAMI Rockland, and we have Rena Finkelstein, who was president prior to me, and she served for 30 years. This is my last year. And this is Jackie Dreyer, who's secretary of the organization, but I'm sure is known to the town for many of the causes she has supported. And basically, I guess, if you don't know about NAMI Rockland, this is our 40th year. We're an affiliate of NAMI National, which is the largest grassroots organization that deals with fighting mental illness in the United States. We're also an affiliate of NAMI, New York State. We're located right here in Orangeburg, right up the street. So we're familiar with the town in many ways, and I guess you with us also. And this year, as was just stated, COVID has really affected mental health, where it used to be that 1 in 5 adults or adults would either have a mental illness, know someone who has a mental illness, have a family member who has a mental illness. As a result of COVID, they're now saying that 1 in 3 people will be having mental illness and will need to seek help in the coming years. So during the pandemic, we've done all of our services virtually. We still aren't back in the office. And we have support groups. We have classes for family members, both of adults and children. We have a helpline that is 6 days a week. And we do a number of other things. Anything you guys think of that I forgot? One of our things is that we also fight stigma through our public awareness campaigns. We have a legislative committee where we write to our government officials and fight really for things for the families and the people suffering with mental illness. And this has been a very busy year and a busy time. So
Sure.
I want to thank you, and if either of my cohorts want to say something, you
I'd just
can.
like to say something quickly. So can you hear me? Okay. Thanks for this proclamation. I live with my sister who actually has mental health challenges. It's been about 8 years, and it was a very rough road to get her help. NAMI is the organization that actually got me the help for my sister. So it's a great resource in Rockland County, and anyone can reach out and ask for help, join a class. Everything is free. And we just do so many wonderful things online, too, that people should feel comfortable looking us up. You could consider us to be a natural resource in Rockland County. Thanks.
I'm going to give you the proclamation here. So you can... Hopefully we're on Facebook Live, so now all these people learned about it. I didn't know that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Okay, the next proclamation we have is for National Police Week, so we're going to get the chief up here. You want to read this? You don't have your glasses? I'll read.
To recognize National Police Week 2021 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in the communities across the United States, including dedicated members of the town of Orangetown Police Department. Whereas there have been 56,034 assaults against law enforcement officers in 2019, resulting in approximately 17,188 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 24,852 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including 2 officers from the town of Orangetown in 1973 and 2 officers from the village of Nyack Police Department in 1981. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved in the walls of National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., whereas a total of 1,627 law enforcement officers died in the line of duty during the past 10 years, including 135 officers who were killed in the line of duty in 2019. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 33rd Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13, 2021. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-mast. Therefore, be it resolved that the Orangetown Town Board formally designates May 9th to May 15th as Police Week in the town of Orangetown, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation, in witness thereof on today, May 11th, Teresa Kenny, Supervisor. And from my own perspective, just listening to mainstream news over the last year, I think this is not covered enough in terms of what law enforcement officers do, say, for this community and for communities across the country. They forget the big picture. And thank God we have a great police department here. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Town Board. I would just like to take one more second just to add that I think it's appropriate, too, during this week, that it's also Mental Health Awareness Month, because mental health is also part of what's going on with the law enforcement officers, and I just want to acknowledge the Town Board for the program that you have, the Employee Assistance Program that you have for your police officers and your civilian CSEA employees, because it's a great program and it's a great help to us, and we appreciate everything that you do along those.
On that note, all right, we've had meetings over the last several months on police reform, and we've also, one of the issues, main issues, has been dealing with mental health, problems, and how officers should deal with that, and what extra support is needed. Again, I go back to mainstream news. I watch TV, watch the New York City news. Somebody down in New York City should be coming up here and talking to NAMI, talking to what goes on up here, because up here there's far more support for people with mental health issues. And down in New York City, they spend a ton of money, but it's totally ineffective. So thank God for NAMI, but somebody in New York City has to look at where they're spending their money.
Thank you.
Chief?
Dennis Choi for Meyer.
No, thanks. No, I would have a mental health issue.
Thanks, Chief.
If I was mayor of Evil.
Okay, the next proclamation is for National Public Works Week. Jim, did you want to, there was some confusion. You want me to read this, or did you want to come up and?
You want to read it?
I'm happy to. I don't. There was some conversation about you wanted to do the presentation. I don't know. Okay, so whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the town of Orangetown. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the town of Orangetown to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas this year, 2021, marks the 61st Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, and resolved, I, Teresa Kenny, Orangetown Supervisor, do hereby designate the week of May 16th to the 22nd as National Public Works Week in the town of Orangetown, and I urge all citizens to join with the representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Thank you, Jim. You want to come up and say anything?
Well, actually, I think David and Eric should come up also.
Okay.
Because it is Public Works.
It is Public Works. They look thrilled.
So we tend to not recognize the fact that it's a multiple discipline, Public Works, and the Parks Department and the Engineering and Sewer Department have a big role in this. The Highway Department, because we do the equipment show, everybody identifies us with it, but it's a team effort for everybody. And none of us would be here if it really wasn't for the employees that we have here in Orangetown. They're dedicated, hardworking people, and that's what shows up. And we have a town board that supports us, so we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim, you want to take a plug for your, Jim, his name is this weekend? Is the? Highway Open House. I didn't know if you wanted to just make a plug for your open house, I thought, while you're up there.
I'm sorry. I got here a little late. I was at a doctor's office for 4 hours, just sitting there. Yeah, this Saturday, we're going to have an open house. We're trying to get back to our regular regime. We're going to have everybody walking in with the observing the protocols, but we're going to allow the kids to get on the equipment as they did in past years, except for last year. Usually we have a very good turnout. First 50 children that get there will have T-shirts with saying Orangetown Open House, Highway Department Open House. So it's from 10 in the morning until noontime. And it usually works out pretty good for us. So everybody's invited. Hopefully, we usually have 300 or 400 people. We don't know what's going to happen this year because it's different, but we've had a lot of people tell us they were happy to see that we were going to be able to get back to
Back to
this.
normal. Perfect.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jim, did you want to address the change order?
Yeah, if you want me to.
I guess you're
That's
up
on
there.
the presentation.
Oh. Yeah.
Talk about the change order for the
Yeah.
H4H. Basically, the H4H is the bioretention basin approved by the DEC and funded through the, oh my God, I can't remember which fund. It's approved by a state fund with federal backing. So we've got about a 6-acre pond or bioretention basin to hold the water back from the Tappan area around Independence Avenue. And it's designed, and it will help us with the flooding in downtown Tappan. Based on this, to meet the DEC regulations, it can't just be a hole for water to accumulate in. The water needs to be treated. It's going to hold water back, but it's also going to treat any water that's going there before it gets into the Spark Hill Creek. So as part of that process, we have to cover it with topsoil. It has different types of pools, and then there's different types of plants that go in there to help clean the water. When we did the original bid, the low bidder was at about $1.8 million, and the next one was about $140,000 above them, and there were 4 other ones that were above that. We dug the hole. The hole took close to 50,000 cubic yards out. It's about a 4.5-acre hole that will capture that water, but it needs to be planted. When they came and did the additional measurements for the job to double check it in the field, we found out that there was a mistake in the initial bidding, not the bidding process, but in the numbers from the contractors, because there was a scale in there that was at a landscaper scale that was part of the package that was in a different engineering scale. So they actually didn't bid enough soil to cover everything. So we went back and looked at it. Could we reduce the soil? and still grow things. That was a concern. We're talking about 6 inches of topsoil for it to grow in. If we do that, we'll probably lose the warranty on the plants, and there's a lot of plants in there. So in order to keep the warranty, we're suggesting that we put the 6 inches, we just have to add an additional 9, but it's about 900 yards. Original estimate was for about $112,000 as an add-on. We negotiated with them, looked at it tight, and made, our presentation now is that we need to pay them to distribute the soil. But as part of these contracts, if they purchase the product, they get a profit for that, and they add on, that's just part of the business process. So we think we know we can circumvent that. We can buy the soil directly from the sole source because it has to be made. It's not something you just buy off the shelf at ORI right here. And they were going to be the supplier anyhow. But if we buy it and then deliver it with town equipment, we can save, we can do it for $82,000. So we can save $22,000. So but that is a change order. So I want you to know about this before we move on with it. The other part is, this is the planting season. If we don't get this in the next few weeks, then we have a serious issue of whether or not we're going to be able to plant till the end of the summer. So that's why we only found out about this recently because we started the idea of purchasing soil. So I just wanted to give you a background on it. We believe it was a legitimate mistake because the low bidder was a low bidder by $140,000 from the next bidder. So it didn't look like it was contrived. It looked like it was a mistake, a legitimate mistake. Okay?
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Just one thing, Jimmy. Through the years, the flooding down at Spark Hill has been a major issue here in the town. And I commend Jimmy for taking the opportunity the last several years of hooking on with the Homes for Heroes and the land there, to have a buffer for the water that's flowing down into the Spark Hill. So great job there, Jimmy.
Well, we do actually, we've been through the process of getting that property. And because the Homes for Heroes said they weren't going to use it, we were able to get it. We do owe them a gratitude for working with us on it. This is probably the last place along the Spark Hill Creek where we could do anything like this, because everything else is built up. So,
Good job.
okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Brenner, you are up for the Reserve at Pearl River presentation.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the hearing, and it's pretty good. I have been out February last year. I know, I must be here.
It's been in lockdown. We've been in lockdown.
But,
Doing a presentation on it?
yeah, I don't know if we're going to use the screen. We have the engineer here. Again, as I was thanking the town board, this is a petition. Actually, it's the third section of the club. It's got a different name. The name is known as the Reserve, but it is the same operators, the same people that are building this section. It's the third section. It's located just to the south of the one that's being built right now. It's about 22 acres of land. Meets all the conditions of the PAC zone that we're asking for. I do want to tell you that the first section is completely rented and there's a waiting list. At the present time right now, 80% of the second section, which is not even completed, is rented. And this would be the third section, which would come into being. It's the same builder. He's built a beautiful job. It's been for the residents of our community. You'll see from the petition, it's an economic win-win for the community. That being, it's taking a piece of property that's dormant right now and it'll bring us a good tax rateable. I do have the engineer here, Diego, here from John Myers, and he'll explain exact location, and then we'll be open to questions. Diego, you want to take it over? Sure.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Diego Villarreal. I'm an engineer with John Meyer Consulting, JMC. We're the planners and engineers working with the applicant. We were also the planners and engineers working with the applicant on the first two phases of the project. And this, I just figured, was a good exhibit to show you, which is an aerial photograph of that whole area. And it really shows you just a little clip of the phase one portion of it. On the bottom of the sheet, this is Veterans Memorial. And then Blue Hill Plaza is just off the right-hand side of the page. Just shows you in relationship the three communities that they ultimately would like to construct. So the first phase, as Donna indicated, fully constructed and occupied. The second phase at the corner of Veterans Memorial Drive and Blue Hill Plaza, that's shaded in right there, and that's the one that's currently under construction as you drive by it now. And the third phase is really just to the north, or excuse me, just to the south of it, along the New Jersey-New York border. The vacant lot, 22 acres, is highlighted in red right there. And the intention is really to take the same concept, same building material, same quality of construction, and bring that to this other parcel. The access would be a shared access with the phase two. We would make some modifications to the driveway off of Blue Hill Plaza, and they would have a split driveway where you can go to either location. So there would be a guard booth at that spot, and then you can make a right to go to the phase three project or the left to go to the phase two project. Single point of access off of Blue Hill Plaza. The buildings themselves, very similar. 4 buildings, a total of 110 units, somewhere between 26 and 28 units per building. They're 2/3-story buildings, just the way they're constructed into the grade. So they're very low buildings, residential in character. The architecture for the buildings. These are the architectural elevations. Again, pitched roofs, very residential in character, garage spaces for the buildings themselves. And again, it's 3 stories on one side of the building, but only 2 stories on the other side of the building. Going back to the site plan itself, similar to the other ones, the phase one and the phase two projects, this would have its own clubhouse and community space, about a 6,000 square foot community center, as well as a bunch of other amenities that they incorporate into the design. There's a putting green, there's a pickleball court. All of these things get constructed and are accommodations for the residents of the community as well. One of the important things just to note, and I've noted this with each phase, the development area is really being consolidated as much as possible. We limit it. The whole property is about 22 acres, but we're only building on about 10, and it preserves the rest of the land. And when you look at the phase one, which is just off to the page, this area all in here, and then all from phase two, and now there's additional area from the phase three, all of this preserved over 45 acres of land between the 3 properties when you look at all of them together. So we're able to build the community in a relatively small footprint, keep it very consolidated as much as we possibly can, and then do what we can to preserve the natural areas surrounding it as well. That was a quick overview. Happy to answer any questions that you might have on the plan itself, but just wanted to give you a quick overview of what was being proposed.
Are they 1 and 2 bedrooms, no more than 2 bedrooms?
The unit count, it's 1 and 2. Are there any 3s? 1 and 2. Just 1 and 2. Just 1 and 2s. The buildings haven't been finalized, the design yet, so I don't have the breakdown for you, but it's 1 and 2 bedroom, no 3s.
How big was the property for the phase 2 and how many?
Phase 2 was 104 units. Forgive me, I will get the acreage of the property. It was larger. Phase 2 was a little bit bigger. It had more area behind it. But that was 104 units. I don't have the exact acreage, but I can certainly get that for you.
I mean, I think everyone on the board supported the first 2 projects. I support this one, but I think the parking in the back just looks a little too close to the, you're going to be putting a lot of cars back there, close to the property line. I don't know, is there anything you can do about that?
So what we can do, first of all, just hope everybody understands the scale of this drawing. The drawing that we showed you here is really to show the big picture of all 3 properties around it. There are buffer requirements that we have to comply with along the property line. That distance in that area is over 50 feet of natural vegetation that would remain. And then when we talk about the landscaping and other things that would be installed to supplement the buffer between the two properties, we can look at that as we go through a site plan process and really work on making sure that that area is buffered. And then the answer is yes to your question. We can look at and incorporate, when we go through the site plan process, just shifting these buildings down slightly to create a little bit of extra distance there. That's absolutely one of the things we could look at as we go a little further into the process.
Now, will they have any shared amenities between 2 and 3?
They have individual amenity spaces. I'm going to turn to them. Would they have the ability to share between the other communities? No, correct? Yeah. So each one has its own clubhouse that's being constructed, its own pool, pickleball courts. All of them are being provided for the individual communities.
I now know why you're selling out. It's the pickleball courts.
That's it.
As Eric will tell you, the pickleball players are like exploding.
You also have rec rooms and a gym, right?
Inside the clubhouse. The clubhouse is about 6,000 square feet, and they have all the spaces, the rec room, all the spaces within the clubhouse itself. It's really a spectacular product. When you drive by it,
I think
the quality is very high-end. It's
we went to Livingston to look at your properties down there, and the rec room was very large. The pool was great. That's one of the reasons I think we approved the first project.
Yeah, as Mr. Brenner had indicated, Phase 1 is fully occupied. Phase 2, which has not even opened yet, is 80% lease.
I get calls, and I'm sure Teresa does all the time, like, how can I get on this list? And I'll send an email to Donald, you forward the contact information, because it's maybe once a week, twice a week I get phone calls.
Yeah, there's high demand for the active adults product that they're
Now,
proposing.
unrelated to the 3 per se, but the big land between 1 and 2,
This area?
is that any kind of restriction that it can ever be built on? Is it wetlands? Is it something we don't have to worry about you coming back and trying to
No,
put
a
anything in
couple
there?
of things. One, it is wetlands. There's a number of wetlands. There's the water course that goes right through the property that drains into Lake Tapan. So you have a lot of area that's encumbered by just natural environmental features, wetlands, water courses, other things like that. And then, this really does, when you look at the density, it maxes out the density that's available for the property itself.
I think that's what we made sure.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a lot of open space.
There's not anymore.
There's no clubhouse for them.
What's that?
There's no club
Four.
No, Club Phase 4, no. Well, not here.
Yeah. Okay. I guess just, we have, everyone has the paperwork, but this is an overlay, right, Rob?
Right, yeah. Yeah, if the board is amenable to it, we could have a resolution next week to refer it to the planning board and county planning and set up a public hearing for about a month out from then.
Rob, just remind me, on the first and second, wasn't there a required contribution to the sewer and the parks? That would have to be worked out?
Yeah, that's all part of it, part of it, and I'll discuss it with their attorney. There's a fee in lieu of recreation, although they are providing recreation, but they're having contributions, yes.
You're all going to get pickleball passes.
If you have wiffle ball passes, I'll take that.
He says, I don't play pickleball. Not yet. Okay. Questions? Jerry, you good down there in the little kid seat?
Hi, Jerry.
Okay, I thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was the 2. That's what we have Rob agreeing for.
Yeah, it's here.
It's on my pay grade.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a good night.
Okay, workshop.
You know where to find me. Thank you.
Okay, let's try and get through this agenda kind of quick.
Motion to open the,
Yeah, exactly.
we need to do it?
What?
No.
No, what?
We need a motion
No. Okay. Okay, so this is retaining AKRF. This is the professional planner that we interviewed, and after a very competitive process, we have chosen AKRF to work with us on our comprehensive plan. Next one is authorized agreement. This is the grant writing with LaBerge Group. There's a lot of grants flying around with the CARES Act and this and that, and so we thought we needed some professional attention. And I think Allison and Jeff will both be very happy about that. Next is the 2021 Certificate of Sewer Registrations. Number 6 is settling a claim. I think this is a vehicle accident claim, settling for $11,000 from Michael Hagopian and Amy Hagopian. 7 is Elizabeth Street Pearl River Interlocal Agreement, letter of intent. So I don't know if anybody has questions on this. This is basically where the property's in New Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Backyards. in
So
Jersey.
it's going to be serviced in Orangetown, so they have to have an agreement. Did I say that right?
Exactly, yeah, plowing, but also recycling, things of that nature. The houses are in New Jersey, but they access the houses through Elizabeth Street.
Okay, so I think we had this question, and they pay us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a formula in there that we're going to make sure.
Okay, good, okay. Authorize the payment of a judgment in Rockland, the index number there for the Castle at Blue Hill versus the town of Orangetown. Number 9 is approve the order construction for Ferraro Construction Corp. for the culvert replacement project of 400 Route 303 to mitigate sediment, transport, and water quality impairment. Oh, that's part of the Climate Smart Grant. Okay. Accept the donation, yeah. This is the Peace Pole down by the Pearl River Rotary in Brunsdorf Park. And the next one we have is a bench at Veterans Memorial Park by the Lions Club, which is for those who lost to COVID-19 and those who cared for them. And it's the Pearl Rivers Lions Club, which is very nice on both of those organizations. And then we have the Girl Scouts, accept the donation of a rock garden at the Borst Park by Pearl River Daisy Troop 40512. 13, approve lemonade to the, by the Orangetown Highway Department for the, show them for the Orangetown, is this your, what is, I don't know what this is. But what's it for, though?
It's for the equipment show.
The equipment show.
Okay, the equipment show. Okay, 14, I know this one is the Greek Festival, lending aid to the 2020 Greek Festival to be held on Friday, June 4th through Sunday, June 6th. I think it is. They did it last year, too. It gets a little hairy, let me tell you. Okay, 15 is approving flexible work schedule for the building department from June 7th to September 12th. 16th is approve the surplus equipment and vehicles. 17 is awarding the bid for the roof improvements to Frank Cyrowis. Is that right? And then vouchers. Oh, it seemed much worse when we started. So, can I get a motion to open the public portion?
Motion to open public portion.
Tom Divney, a second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Susan Namaste.
Susan Nemesdi Palisades.
Oh, I try to get it right. I always say it wrong. One of these days I'll get it right.
Okay. I have two topics I'd like to address. The first is the commuter parking lot proposed at the Sparkill American Legion baseball field on Route 340. Last Wednesday's community meeting met with strong opposition and made it obvious that this may not be the right place for this commuter lot to be built. Not only is this location isolated and leaves vehicles vulnerable to break-ins and theft, but buses thundering down 340 back and forth past residences every hour of the weekday only adds to an already very busy thoroughfare. I'd like to propose a few alternate sites for this commuter lot. One alternative, Tapan Plaza, the future home of Lidl on 303, has parking for about 300 cars. The southwest corner by the Wendy's is always empty. Even when all the shops are open, that parking area never fills even to half its capacity. Another place would be the Stop and Shop Plaza in Orangeburg, which also has plenty of unused parking. Both of these locations are already paved. The existing businesses could benefit by commuters taking advantage of shopping before or after their commute, and both can be easily accessed by the bus company. In the case of Stop and Shop, a commuter lot might also attract more business, such as a Starbucks, a quick place to grab a breakfast or a coffee before their commute. Other sites could be at the current Orangetown Highway Department ROTC property on 303, or on Oak Tree Road across from Ross Brothers, where a substation was once planned. For the Sparkill lot, the town plans to spend nearly $1 million on construction, as well as pay yearly lease. Instead of spending the money on the building lot, why not just lease space already available or make space on an existing town property? The other topic I'd like to address is the number of requests for high-volume mega warehouses coming before the town boards. 3 new mega warehouses have been sent back to the boards for review due to the gross nature of their proposed sizes. Another warehouse at 524 Route 303 is going before the planning board, and yet another high-volume warehouse being planned behind Lowe's is going before ZBA for variances. So 5 warehouses sit before various boards awaiting approval right now. We're all aware how the warehouse behind Aloof Plastics has destroyed that neighborhood. Many of these proposed warehouse projects are not affiliated with any business. They are basically being built on spec, and it is irresponsible to approve all these buildings without knowing the nature, needs, and impact these businesses will have on our community. Until the new comprehensive plan is updated, as a member of Coupon Hamlets of Orangetown, I'd like to ask this town to please put a moratorium on any further requests for creation of these warehouse spaces. Thank you. And on the note, if we could just have an update on H&A, how those plans are going, or if you could let us know when we would know. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, that's the only one who signed up, so is anybody else who? Eileen?
So glad to see all your faces again. I'm going to ask you about the comprehensive plan, how that's going to proceed. Will the company that you've contracted with, how will they meet with the community? And Orangetown has its own special hamlets and villages, and I was wondering, will the comp plan also include the villages to be part of the total? They're separate. Oh,
Because
okay.
anything we do,
Right.
they wouldn't have to follow.
Oh, okay. I
You know,
understand.
we would pay for something that would be disregarded.
Right, okay,
They'd
that makes
laugh at
sense. But I guess my feeling is, I think I go back to Manny Emanuel before, I think even Teresa was born, when he did a master plan for Orangetown. And then I think we had Sakati and Schiff did 2 master plans for us, comp plans. And they were very, very considerate of the town and the hamlets, and we always met with them, and they heard how each hamlet was special in its own way. So Pearl River has more businesses than Tappan, and Palisades has a library and a post office and a community center. So, we're all different. So I guess my question is, how will this company find out how we are, what kind of town we are, and will they meet with the residents of those hamlets? And I know the contract will be signed whenever. So how will they go about with the comp plan? And that's my concern, is how Orangetown will be in the next 10 or 15 years, but maybe I won't be here then. I'm also sad to see that Captain Terrence Sullivan passed away. I believe I was on the board when he retired, and he was a big guy and a very nice man. He was an honor to Orangetown, and it's sad to see that he passed away. But anyway, getting back to what Susan said about what was she talking about, the parking lot. The meeting the other night, I think it got out of hand, and I think there were a lot of questions out there that may have, if they were able to ask them, maybe some of the concerns would have been not as, it wasn't carried out, I thought. It wasn't a bad night, number one. It was a bad time. It was like rush hour time. But I think the best place would be Oak Tree Road near the Old Sullivan's Bar. That piece of property has been vacant for years, and I think there's a gentleman from Webster Avenue in the Bronx who owns it. But maybe another source. I don't know. You know Webster Avenue?
Substation,
Substation,
right.
Well, it's not awful. You could always divert. All right, Teresa, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to speak? I don't know, did he? Mike, was that a wave or you waving to Eileen? You want to speak? No? Come on up. He's good.
Can I take my mask down?
Sure.
So Jackie Drexler with NAMI, Rockland, but also I actually really like the way this is being run. It's so pleasant and kind of thoughtful. I'm a visitor here in Orangetown, but I grew up here. I lived here from 1958 until about until 2000. Now I live in Valley Cottage. So I kind of consider myself an Orangetown person. And where I live now in Clarkstown, there's a lot of issues about kind of overdevelopment and so much senior housing that's being planned, and actually that a lot of the open space land is maybe going to be repurposed for senior housing. So having grown up here, I feel it's so important, as I guess it's Susan, maybe and Eileen, both talked about preserving the character of this community, because it is really unique. There's so many different parts of it, between, you know, Pearl River and bordering New Jersey and Palisades, Spark Hill. There's just Piermont. There's just so many wonderful areas of nature that really need to be taken into account. And I know that I feel like, as a Clarkstown resident, I'm always fighting against overdevelopment, and I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen here. But thank you for holding such lovely meetings.
Thank you. Turn this thing off here.
Anyone else?
Okay, anybody else?
Motion to close?
Okay, I got a motion to close by Dennis Troy, seconded by Tom Divany. All in favor? Aye. Before we start, I just want to briefly talk about the comp plan. And we had really great applicants for it. It was a tough decision between the planners. One of the questions that Paul asked every one of them was recognizing the different personalities, is the word I use, of the hamlets, and you know, how they would be involved. And all of them were very, comp plans are not what we remember the Circadian Shift days. I will tell you that now. They're going to have websites, and they're going to have outreach programs. And I mean, I remember going back to Circadian Shift days, and this is nothing like that. They take into consideration sustainability. It goes well beyond what I thought in my mind a comp plan was. So I'm excited for it. It's long overdue. I think you'll be very happy. The group we chose, and again, it was very difficult, but they're local. They work with our boards already, so they're already familiar with Orangetown. So I think in the end, we made a good choice. And you will definitely, there'll be plenty of outreach and opportunity for each hamlet to express their particular concerns. Anybody else want to say anything, or just about anything?
Tonight, we did some proclamations for National Police Week and National Public Works Week. And I find that's important for this town to recognize the people that work here. We have very professional public works professionals who do our sewers department and our highway department. We have the best, I believe, the best highway department probably in New York State. And we have a great police force. And, you know, the last year you've seen a lot of police departments come under attack, and there's calls to defund the police. And I just don't know why. I mean, I can see why, but I don't see it in Orangetown. We have everyone lives in Orangetown. They're members of the community. They do a great job. We get accredited from the state almost on a regular basis. The chief grew up in this town. He has a lot of pride in his force. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of back and forth, but the one thing I do know is that Orangetown's very lucky for the police force that we have, and I know myself and the rest of the board support the Orangetown Police Department 100%.
Okay, I promised the town clerk I would mention that she held the shredding event, and it was with People to People, and we got a note here today that it was a huge success, that they collected 785 pounds of food, that have almost $2,200. They collected $1,400 in cash, $75 in school supplies, and $60 in checks for a grand total of $3,700. So it's a good job done by our town clerk's office, so thank you. Okay, so on to the agenda. Item number 3, to retain AKRF to be the comprehensive plan consultant. Can I get a motion? Tom Diviny, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Dennis volunteered you. I didn't even, he said Valentine, so. Because no one even knows Jerry's over there. I think he's napping, but anyway. Okay, number 4, authorize the grant writing with the LaBerge Group. Basically, it's $3,000 a month, but we're going to prorate it through the year. Can I get a motion? Yep. Oh. Jerry Batari moved. Dennis Troy, second. All in favor? Aye. Number 5, approval of the 2021 certificate of sewer registrations to Seolfi and King Excavating. Can I get a Paul Valentine move? Tom Diviny, second. All in favor? Aye. Settle a claim against the town of Orangetown by Michael and Amy Hagopian. Can I get a motion? You know the name? Okay. Dennis, Jerry, second. All in favor? Aye. Motion for number 7 on the Elizabeth Street to approve an interlocal agreement or a letter of intent for it. Can I get a motion? Paul Valentine, Tom Diviny, all in favor? Authorize payment of a judgment in the castle at Blue Hill versus the town of Orangetown in the amount of $205,000. Can I get a motion? Jerry Batari, move. Dennis Troy, second. All in favor? Highway, approve of the award of construction to Ferraro Construction Corp. for the culvert replacement project at 400 Route 303. Can I get a motion? Tom Diviny, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Number 10, accept the donation of the Peace Pole from the Pearl River Rotary Club in Brunswick Park at no cost to the town. Motion? Aye, okay. Dennis Troy moved, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor? Aye. Accept the donation of a memorial bench from the Pearl River Lions Club at Veterans Memorial Park. Can I get a motion? Paul Valentine move. Tom Diviny, second. All in favor? Aye. Accept the donation for the rock garden from the Pearl River Daisy Troop at Forest Park. Can I get a motion? I'll make a motion. I'll make a second. Who's not going to second the Girl Scouts? What is wrong with you people?
Are you a Girl Scout?
For about 5 minutes. So Paul second, all in favor? Aye. Approve lend aid for the Orangetown Highway Department Equipment Show for Wednesday, May 19th. Motion? Tom Diviny? Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Approve lend assistance for the 2021 Greek Festival drive-through event at St. Constantine's Church. That's Jerry. Jerry move. Second. Dennis Troy, all in favor? Aye. Approve the flexible work schedule and OBS pay from June 7th to September 12th. I got a motion? Paul Valentine, second. Tom Diviny, all in favor? Approve surplus equipment and vehicles from NAMI as listed in the resolution. Get a motion? Dennis Troy moved. Jerry Batari, second. All in favor? Award the bid for the NAMI roof improvements to the lowest qualified bidder, Frank Cirrus. Can I get a motion? Did I say it right? Hold on. Okay. Tom Diviny, second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have Jeff on the budget. Audit.
Tonight's audit consists of 4 warrants for a total of $2.485 million. The first warrant had 34 vouchers for $970,000. Items of interest, number 1 and 2, the applied golf management contracts. Number 3, Commissioner of Taxation and Workers' Comp Board, $16,000 for 1Q21 payment. Number 4, Delagi Landon, $15,000 for golf cart leases. That's for Blue Hill in May. Number 6, Department of Civil Service, $719,000 for healthcare benefits. The second warrant had 4 vouchers for $20,000. Again, number 1, Delagi Landon, $15,000 for the June golf cart leases payment. The third warrant had 9 vouchers for $1.3 million. The main item there is Arthur Gallagher, $1.2 million for our insurance renewals. The third warrant had 114 vouchers for $149,000. Items of interest, number 5, Hage Carpet, $18,000 for the carpeting that we're standing on right now. Number 6, Jet Industries, $26,000 for retainage payable. And that's it. Any questions on the audit?
Can I ask you a question, which I don't know if you're going to know the answer to, but I just saw in the Pearl River A Senior Club number 9. Do you know, did they ever get that money back from the dinner theater or whatever happened with that? They never got it back?
I do not believe they got it back, no. I mean, they went bankrupt, so the likelihood of getting it back is very low.
Yeah. I know the other towns had the same issue, but anyway, I just saw this and it reminded me, so. Okay, thank you. Okay. We are going to
You need a
executive session.
motion, you need
Yeah.
18, a vote on 18.
I know Tom usually says it really quick.
Moved.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. So we're for discuss acquisition, lease of real property, which might, publicly might affect the value.
All right, cool.
Okay. We're not going to be voting when we come out, but we do have to, it was mentioned, we're closing in memory of Captain Terrence Sullivan. You know, he was a cop's cop. He was a nice, big, sturdy Irish man. So, sorry to hear that. I was very sorry to hear that news. But anyway, so on that note, can I get a motion to go into executive session? I guess, I don't, where you want to go? In here? Doesn't matter?
Go in the back.
Okay. You don't want to go in there? Okay, my office.
Yeah, 'cause I can get a
Okay, okay. Okay, so I got a motion from Tom Divney? Okay, all in favor? Aye.